My name is Rich Weil. I work for Metaverse Mod Squad. I am the Senior Vice President for Global Operations for the company. I've been with the company for 5 years, and what we do can be really summed up with the term digital engagement. So basically, anytime a company needs to engage with their customers through the internet, we can help. We do customer support. We do moderation, like keeping a forum or a Facebook page or something like that clean and constructive. We do quality assurance, and we do social media of varying levels. We do a lot of what I call tier 1 work, where it's like the big massive work that needs to be done every day. We do some tier 2, tier 3 kind of work across the spectrum. For example, sometimes we have companies who want us to provide them with community managers, and we'll do that. And that's, as an old community guy myself, I definitely think that's not tier 1. That's tier 2, tier 3 kind of stuff. So basically, digital engagement is what we do. I started with the company 5 years ago. It's kind of funny. Things have come in a certain way full circle, because when I was hired by Metaverse, I was hired to open our office in Sacramento. That was our first operations center. The company actually has been in operation for more than 7 years, 7.5 years, 8 years. But before that, we were primarily remote. Everybody in the company was remote. And that's still the case. Primarily, we are a remote company. However, it's very helpful for us to have operation centers. So we have one in Sacramento. We're opening one in Derry. We have business development offices in various cities: San Francisco, New York, London. So we have, and probably a couple that I don't know about too. We have built up the company over time very organically. We don't necessarily do a lot of speculative work as far as like, oh, let's hire a bunch of people and then find work for them. We tend to find work and then hire people, and so we've grown very organically, and it's been very stable. That's been a big success for us. Employing people who are remote gives us the opportunity to use overqualified people. For example, a stay-at-home mom with a degree in communications or finance or anything like that. So that has been a big success for us. When I worked for a software consultancy in Austin, Texas, called Athens Group, really smart people, the kind of guys that Michael Dell would go to and ask them for advice. I was the dumbest person in the company. There's no doubt about that. I did HR. So not that HR people are dumb, but everybody else was genius, and I wasn't. So it's a great company though. And when we expanded even to Houston, 2 hours down the road, there was a big cultural difference that we had to adapt to, because Houston, certainly at the time, big oil town, Austin, big technology town, and so there were different ways of doing business in Houston than there was even in Austin. So I think it's important to keep absolutely the cultural frame of reference in mind. Also, I think one of my primary rules is you have to understand what communication barriers you're going to have. Different cultures communicate differently. That's a duh. But you have to understand what they are, and you have to aggressively address them. For example, I know there are Asian cultures where they don't tend to say no. They don't tend to be that way. It's not part of how they communicate. They'll talk around it, and if you're listening properly, you'll understand that they're saying no. But if you're not listening properly, you won't hear the no, and you're going to cause trouble. Especially if they're the ones in charge. And also, I think the other thing to remember, and this sounds, I guess, a little mercenary, is that it's important to understand the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. So if a company from Ireland is coming into the US and they're opening a business there and they're employing people there and all that kind of good stuff, then they're going to make the rules. And the Americans need to understand that, and vice versa, or whether it's Koreans in the US or Germans in France or whatever you want to call it. I think it's very important for both sides to understand that there can only be one rule set, really, and they all have to understand that. So as far as advice for people in Derry and doing business on a global scale, we never saw that as any kind of barrier. We never saw, what are the disadvantages of our global business in Derry? Because we are matching Derry's strengths with our needs. And so we think it's going to, of course we think it's going to turn out great, or else we wouldn't be doing it. Derry, youngest city in Europe. I know people say that all the time. It has a fantastic educational base. It has a fantastic demographic base with the kind of work you need. I think there's a ton of flexibility here. And I think that, again, it's important to understand Derry to do business here, but But I think that any business in dairy is absolutely able to compete on a global scale because it's all about talent. It's all about the people, the kind of people you find. And I think dairy has a great base of talent. But it is it is a global economy. So, for example, we're probably going to have a little business development office in Dublin, to be close to the headquarters of those companies or the big divisions there. So, but for the kind of work we want to do on a day-to-day basis and the kind of work we want to do for our clients, we're extremely happy with dairy, and we know that we're going to be easily competitive.